What's happening, Boot Junkies? Mike Delgadio here, back with another video on home studio setup for voiceover. And today we're going to answer a question that I got over Twitter, asking if the e100s microphone that they got and the Zoom H5 that they have, if the amount of preamp noise they're hearing or microphone noise they're hearing is normal. So why don't we compare and contrast what he hears to what I hear? So very much thank you to @CaptainComedy for sending me his audio so we can compare and contrast. So first, let's listen to what Captain Comedy hears. Putting on our headphones.
Hi, Mike. My name's James, and this is a recording of my new CAD e100s, which Santa brought me. Now, I've got no pad and the low-pass filter is on, and I've got my H5 and my preamp on there is set to 5. Now, call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure I shouldn't hear that amount of background noise.
Aha.
Now, I'm very new to all of it.
Okay, so what Captain Comedy hears is actually a fair bit of hiss coming from the inherent noise of the microphone. And so let's compare. Grab your headphones. If you don't have your headphones on, grab some headphones because we're going to listen. I am going into an E100S and to a Zoom H5. So let's see. Let me see. Let's see how mine is set. Mine right now is set at 4, and that's normally where I keep mine. And you can see the meters are going up to, about minus 12 with peaks up to maybe minus 18 with peaks up to minus 12. Captain Comedy has his set a little bit higher, so I'm going to adjust my preamp now to be a 5. And let's compare what I hear to what he hears. I hear it too. I've got hiss in the microphone. I think that's noise that's just inherent in the microphone. But I'll also say that as I talk to it at this distance from the microphone, my meters are peaking, right? I'm practically up at 0 for some of the peaks. When I talk into it, my mic is hot, like too hot. So I'm going to turn it back down to 4. So I think that's probably the first thing is there is some noise within this microphone, but it's also it's a hot mic. It's loud. We'll compare it to a couple of other mics and see how it compares. But there is some noise to it. If that's too much noise for you, take it back. Get something different. There's nothing that says you have to be married to this microphone. I will say that in listening to your recording, it sounds like you're actually kind of off the mic, like maybe 6 or 7 inches off the mic, which means you have to keep your preamp a lot hotter. You might need to be a little bit closer to the microphone, just because, so that way you can overcome the hiss, but you can also be a little bit lower on your preamp setting. So let's just compare and contrast a couple of other microphones that I have here in the booth to see how they sound at 5 on the preamp. And this will be just to show you the different noise levels of different microphones. It's not better or worse. Well, it is probably a little bit worse. The louder that inherent noise is worse. It's just something you have to either decide you like or don't like, or if you don't want it. All mics have a little bit of noise. You just have to decide if the noise you're hearing is too much for you. So let's put our preamp back up to 5. And we can hear the hiss come back in. I hear it. The next mic that we'll choose is the Neumann TLM 103. So this mic, big difference in price. This is like $399. This is $899, maybe $1,000. But this is a mic I use for voiceover all the time. So I'm going to switch from this mic to this mic without changing anything on the preamp. And let's see how it sounds. First, I'll set the Neumann down. Click coming. Brace yourself. Okay, it's plugged in. It's plugged in now. So now we're talking to the into the Neumann, and I see that the Neumann isn't quite as hot. So when I'm talking, I'm getting peaks a little bit lower, and average is a little bit lower than the CAD. So let's just take a listen. And I think that's significantly quieter. I think it's significantly quieter. In order to get up to where the CAD is, let's see how high we have to turn up the preamp. We're actually hearing my furnace. So I've got it up at 6 now. And so I've got it up at 6, and you can see it's pretty hot now for the Neumann. That's too hot for the Neumann. So I would say that 5 is about right for the Neumann itself. So the Neumann, as you would expect a $1,000 microphone to be, is quieter. I'm going to unplug it now, and we'll try another one. Okay, this one takes a second to power up. This one you might recognize as the AKG Perception that I used in my unfair comparison. This is one that discontinued, but it's like a $50 microphone. And let's listen to that hiss. More than the Neumann, but less than the CAD, which I find interesting because this one's supposed to be so low. This one actually seems to be relatively low, and I'm just using it handheld here. But this one you can get on eBay all day long, as I've said before. You can get it for about $50, so very inexpensive. And there's a million other microphones. So this one, the CAD, may be noisier. So let's compare this one, and I'll go back to the CAD. So, one, I like the way I sound better on this. Significantly louder. So I'm going to dial it back down to 4, where I would normally keep it. But you notice I'm quieter, which means it probably won't sound as pleasant, but it is quieter. But that's something that you'll have to just sort of be aware of. With any microphone, there's always an inherent noise level that's present in any microphone due to its electronics, its design. And this one is clearly got more. But I would say it's largely, maybe not largely, but it's in part because this microphone itself has more gain. It's louder at the same preamp level. So this one at 5 is much louder than this one at 5. And so the inherent noise is a little bit louder also, I guess. And so you would attenuate your preamp a bit. Now, let's say you like the way you sound on the CAD. You really like the way it sounds, but you don't like that hiss. Well, that's some of that you can fix with your FX chain. So let's take at Captain Comedy's audio, and we'll run it through my default voice chain that I do all of my voicing with, and we'll see if it sounds any better. And really what we're trying to do is we're trying to get rid of that hiss that's really noticeable when you're not talking, right? It's the hiss in between the words, not so much under the words, because when your voice is activated, you don't notice that hiss as much, especially if you're up on the mic and you're giving it plenty of signal when you're recording. But I'm going to take at Captain Comedy, and I'm going to bring him down into a track where I have my default FX chain. And my default FX chain, we can see here, I've got a gate, and then my other things that I have here, de-esser, compressor, EQ, and limiter, and so forth. But the real thing that we're going to concentrate on here is the gate. The gate is, if you recall from one of my other videos, the gate is, it turns down the quietest part. So the silent part with the hiss, when it's silent, you want it to turn it down even further. Gates are the quiet, gates turn down the quiet part. So let's listen to the at Captain Comedy's audio through my vocal chain. We'll see how it sounds.
Hi, Mike. My name's James, and this is a recording of my new CAD e100s, which Santa brought me. Now, I've got no pad and the low-pass filter is on, and I've got my H5, and my preamp on there is set to 5. Now, call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure I shouldn't hear that amount of background noise.
Now I didn't hear the static, but I also didn't notice, it dropping in and out during it. Now, I'll go back and do a critical listing before I post, and we'll see if I need to, break in and do any commentary. But I do think that if you like the way your CAD sounds, your E100 sounds, if it's pleasant for your voice and you're happy with it, aside from that underlying hiss, which can be a drag, you may be able to fix some of it with a noise gate, because that's really what it's good for. So give that a shot, and you want to adjust the gate so it just starts to turn down at the silent level. So record some room tone and then adjust your gate accordingly. And you can watch my gate video if you have any questions about how to do that. I'll link to it. I think it's there. I think it comes up there. I'm not sure. Anyway, so I hope this helps. I hope that's a good comparison. So if you've got a CAD E100S and you hear some hiss in your preamp, maybe you just need to turn it down a little bit. You might need to get closer up onto that microphone and see how it works for you. And like I said, if you don't like it, send it back. Don't hang on to it because Booth Junkie says so. Get the one that's right for you. And if you don't like that hiss, then get rid of it. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. So now go adjust your preamp, put in a noise gate, check your ambient sound on your mic, your inherent noise in your mic, and just go record something amazing, would you?